Okay. Good evening. Apologies for our late start. We had some technical issues. This is the meeting of the Fairfield RTM Redistricting Committee on December 6, 2022. Let's call a roll, Madam Secretary.
Sure. Representative Wackerman.
Here.
Representative Spolier. Here. Representative Iacono, President, and Representative McCormick is on her way.
Okay, thanks. Let's stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item of business is to consider and act upon the minutes from the meeting of the committee held on November 1st, 2022. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I'll second.
Are there any comments on the minutes? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The next item is to review the meets and bounds descriptions prepared by the town's engineering department to confirm that they accurately reflect the district maps. Representative McCormick has just joined the meeting. To confirm that they accurately reflect the district maps approved at the committee's November 1st, 2022 meeting, and to make any changes necessary to the meets and bounds to conform to the maps. So the committee has received an updated meets and bounds that we received late today, which we'll put in the, I'll put that in the backup for this meeting afterwards because we just received it. I shared, we had received comments from Matt Wagner in the registrar's office to try to conform the meets and bounds to the map. And then I sent that to Scott in engineering, who's been a huge help in creating the meets and bounds, and he accepted those changes. So Scott told me that he thinks it's pretty close. He might have a couple of other little tweaks. And maybe Mr. Wagner can address that. But first I'll ask anyone in the committee if you want to discuss something. I would like to hear just Mr. Wagner's explanations for his changes, and then we can talk about it. Is that okay with everybody?
Are the ones we have right here in front of us the newer ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Would you mind? Thanks.
I told Jerry I was going to try and stay off camera. There we go. We'll let that joke be lost to time. So hello, everyone. I'll say I got, was it, I don't know if it was Monday morning or Sunday during the day, an email. I was able to look at it on Monday, make a few recommendations just as to a couple of spots where there were ambiguities, a couple of places, I'll say particularly Morehouse Drive area, Brooklawn Avenue area, where it was not clear sort of whether following that street required you to write the language in a different way than what you might normally expect, and sent those changes to Karen, who shared them with Scott, and he was able to sort of roll those in. I only saw this after 6 today, so I'll say the couple of things that I thought were bigger problems, like an actual potentially not including some areas type of problems. Those I see have been resolved point by point. I haven't gone through it in that level of detail, but it was by and large very good to begin with, and it was only a couple of tweaks. So I don't know if you want to take Scott's seal of approval as the end of it, or if you want to sort of go through and trace the lines with your finger on the map. You know, that's sort of what you do in this process if you do want to proofread it. I'll say I found it took about 6 hours to do. So, you know, that's what you should expect. You know, you could divide the labor up amongst yourselves, conceivably, if you wanted to. But that's what's involved. I know for Scott, it was many hours more than that in producing it in the first place. So, you know, that's I guess just what I would have to say about it. You know, if there's any specific questions, I'd be happy to do that. to get into anything detailed. But again, I think it was pretty close to begin with, and the things I spotted is Scott said that he was able to fix without any trouble. So.
Thank you very much, and thank you so much for that time and all the time you're spending on this. It's been very valuable. Did anybody have any comments or?
Can you for the bigger pieces, Matt, that you thought were going to be left out, just highlight for us what those were?
Sure. The two that I had that were my main concerns was the original referenced Morehouse Highway, which if you've ever traveled up Morehouse Highway from Fairfield Woods Road.
What letter district?
The boundary of A and C. So Morehouse Highway ends like after you go past like the Lake Mohegan area in kind of a weird like cul-de-sac type of like trail almost. Like it's not a road that continues all the way up to Easton. The road that comes down from the eastern border is Morehouse Drive. And so even though looking at the line, it looks like a straight line and it looks like it would probably be a single road, Morehouse Drive actually turns off and curves in a different direction. So you needed to say how to get from Morehouse Drive to Morehouse Highway across an area of land that doesn't have a road on it. So that's something that he was able to resolve. Another one, Brooklawn Avenue, is actually two different like roads. There's one that travels like the Fairfield-Bridgeport border, and then it. I have to look at the big map there.
Is it H?
The border of I and J.
Oh, I and J.
So, you travel down Brooklawn Avenue, and then you need to like go a block over to continue on Brooklawn Avenue, because Brooklawn Avenue, if you're coming from the south, continues seamlessly onto Stratfield Road, and if you're coming from the north, it dead ends after Corrida at a cul-de-sac, right before the Rooster River. So that was another thing that he was able to fix in the language. So those are the two sort of most serious ones. And there were a lot of sort of like little tweaks where like maybe the line was ambiguous as to which intersection you're talking about. I haven't reviewed those, but he looked at them and said, yeah, that's a good point. So I know one or two of the things that had to be fixed were basically changing the starting point. Because if you say, well, just as an example, where Route 15 intersects with Sturgis Highway, there are two different points that could be. But if you started at a different location, you can describe the outline and not have it be ambiguous about where it starts. So the rest of the changes were things of that nature that I saw.
Thank you so much for doing that. Any other questions?
If I could. So now and I know you have to do a final review of it, based on all of that in previous discussions that we've had about the map and the meets and bounds, are you comfortable that this will give you the least amount of ambiguity? If for some reason there's a question about where a voter is located within a district?
Yeah, I guess I'll say.
I mean, I know nothing is perfect, but
I'll actually say that that if you do it perfectly, it creates the ambiguity because sometimes you would say, let me avoid ambiguity by going around the property line. Right. But if you're actually following the census language, you have to go through the property line. Like it cuts it right in half. And so it produces
yes.
Yeah.
I guess specifically to what your issues were before, is this closely aligned with the census block?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And just as maybe this is like a poetic way of putting it, it's like imagine someone's like translating a story or the Bible or something. It's just they're different languages, right? So you're moving it from one type of map to another type of map to a meets and bounds language, and you're trying to get the meaning precise. And sometimes languages don't work that way.
Right.
So.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I feel good about it. And what I would say is when you said, do you want to do one further review? I'd say if this committee was going to do a review, I probably would not care to repeat the process that I did and take Scott's assurances that he rolled in all the changes without going through it all again. If you were going to do a review yourself. If you were not planning to do that review, I guess I would be happy to have that delegated and spend an afternoon on it. But again, I'd sort of watch what this group was going to do. That if you're gonna look at it and compare it and proofread it to your own satisfaction, I'm happy saying I'm satisfied at this point. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
What do we think in terms of, I kind of want to defer to Scott. Yeah. I'm not sure if even if I read it, that I would be able to figure out with the census blocks, and I don't think it'd be fair to ask Matt to spend all that time again. It seems like it's very close. I don't know what Scott said in his email, that he might have a few little tweaks. I don't know what they were. But one thing I was thinking of, and there may be more discussions about this, but is that maybe we could, if we decide to approve this, we could say it's approved subject to any final tweaks that Scott or Matt think is necessary. And that the one thing I noticed, I looked at the statute today that is on the books now, and it refers to a map that was prepared by the engineering department. Yeah, so we could just say, refer to this map with the date we approved it, and then if there's any question, that trumps the meets and bounds.
That's what Scott put in there.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Where's that listed, Matt?
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
Top of each paragraph.
Okay, good. Town
Oh,
Fairfield
yeah,
RTM
yeah.
District approved 11/2/22. Okay, cool.
God, he did this, between you and Scott, we could not possibly have done this ourselves, so.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No.
I think that's great. And, this is why we have an engineering department, for them. This is why I wanted them to do it, to go through and to do what they do professionally. And then, we were all in agreement that Matt should just make sure that the census blocks lined up, to the best of the ability that they could match, with engineering. So it sounds to me like that was achieved. So I'm comfortable with that. And I took the liberty, I hope it's okay, to put together, just a proposal of what we would adopt, which I think is pretty straightforward. We just have to assign numbers to the
Yeah, I was
districts,
gonna
which I have some thoughts on that too, which hopefully everybody is in agreement with. But it's pretty
you.
straightforward. I just took the ordinance and basically amended it to make it what I think we should adopt if you guys feel the same. And it just says to consider and act upon a redistricting ordinance to recommend to the RTM that sections 19-1 and 19-2 of the Town Code, Chapter 19 elections be amended as follows. And then it's the chapter title, 19-1, Establishment of Voting Districts. And it starts with, there are hereby established and created in the town 10 voting districts. And then letters A through K, which is not this. But it would be the first district, and we would put in the meets and bounds, the second district, the third, and so on and so forth. And then the last qualifier there is there shall be 4 members of the representative town meeting elected from each voting district. And the second part is 19-2, boundaries, copy of a map on file. All lines are shown on a map entitled Town of Fairfield, Connecticut RTM Districts, prepared by, I said, the RTM Redistricting Committee on December, I wasn't sure what we were doing there, 2022, which the map is to be filed and with the records of the town and the town clerk's office. So
I think that's.
this is literally, I took it right out of
Yeah, I'm
the
looking
book.
at it now. That looks good.
So I don't know if this evening you just want to, we can vote that I'll incorporate this language in, or how you want to, where it says insert meets and bounds, I can insert the cut and paste it all in so we have it. And then, you as the chairwoman can send that off to the town clerk for the review of the full RTM, however you want to do it. But I thought we would kind of
Yeah, I think we could do that, and we probably don't need to have another meeting then if we decide we approve that, or I'm also happy to have a final meeting when you've put it together.
It's up to you. It's really the pleasure of the board, whatever you guys want. If you want to come back and do it one final time, when it's all printed in writing, and I would imagine it wouldn't be more than a 5-minute meeting.
Yeah, I was thinking if we did it like the first week of January, which is, I know, hard, but that way it can get in the call for the January meeting.
Yep. And that way, if he had any more tweaks, he could make them in here, whatever the final ones are.
That would be good.
Yeah. It'd be nice to probably have one more just to
Yeah.
check everything.
Okay.
Thank you for doing that.
And I can work Yeah, just whatever you get from him, just tell me and I'll incorporate it. I'll incorporate this as the minutes, but then I'll substitute out. Well, I'll just say that we talked about this and then we can adopt the whole thing later if that.
Perfect.
if
That'd be great.
you guys.
That'd be great.
Okay.
And should we say the map from 11
Oh, yeah,
to
so-
22?
Yeah,
Yeah.
how do you, yes, what would you like it to be?
Probably the map approved 11 to 22.
What's the language here?
Okay, November 2nd, 2022?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll discuss the districts tonight, the numbers.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we should do that. So do you want to first take a vote on, as to the meets and bounds that, I guess we could wait till we do the final statute.
Yeah, because we'll get everything together and then just do one vote. It'll
Yeah.
make life a lot easier.
I agree. That's good.
Okay.
As long as we're all consensus that we're good with engineering doing it all, which I am.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah,
that was
like, yeah.
Is that okay with you, Karen?
Okay.
Okay, so let's turn then to the numbering of the districts.
Okay, so I had an idea. So the last time when we did this, we literally looked at it like a clock and went clockwise. This time I sort of did the same thing, but I started lower simply because then that caused the least amount of number changes, and I know that people get, you know,
Yep,
sensitive about that.
yeah.
So really, and what's good about this is, for the most part, the numbers stayed the same in terms of what the numbers are for the 132nd and the 133rd. The 134th has most of the changes, but that's because that district really changed so dramatically, dropping so much farther down south. So
Yeah.
anyway, here was my idea, just to start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In fact, I think these like basically stay the same.
Those are pretty much the
7,
same.
8, 9, 10.
I think that works.
That
I was
looks
thinking the
great.
same thing, start one in
Yeah,
that spot.
Yeah.
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 So then you're,
Take a picture of this.
sure.
They look to be pretty consistent.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
so really only, I mean, some people are changing, obviously, but you're gonna, you know, the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10s, that
It's
basically,
familiar.
it's very familiar to people.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to describe it.
Can I take a picture
Of course
too?
you may. I should have made my little, 4 of my little artwork.
Oh, is
That'd
it,
be- yeah,
you don't
yeah.
have to go to the other building, do you? Oh, that'd be great, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And then we can vote on that at least, right?
Yeah, or I think we can just agree that that's what the numbers will be, if that's.
Yeah,
okay.
and
I
it'll
don't
be
think-
in the final
Yeah,
thing
so
anyway.
then we can just
so-
tell him to make the corrections, you know, based on what we just discussed.
Right.
I mean, unless you think we need a formal vote, I don't think we do.
It'll all be subsumed
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
yeah. I guess I noticed in this thing, oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, it says first district, and then it says RTM District 1. So, I wonder if the meets and bounds already, no,
It just says 8A.
yeah, so
I mean,
maybe
if you
when,
want, I can make the changes and tell him what,
Yeah, but he does have District 1. Oh, no, that's District I.
Put the numbers, incorporate them, because it's more than one reference.
right, so he's gonna have to say District
Right.
1,
Should
and,
be
Yeah.
easy.
yeah,
If
it
you
shouldn't be
give him a copy
hard,
of the map, he should be able to-
right.
Copy and find.
yeah, right.
Oh, thanks, Matt.
Color even.
Yeah.
Can you pass
Oh,
it down to Karen?
fancy, for a long time, we didn't have a color map over here.
There's extra, yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Let's see. So we have resolved the meets and bounds. We've resolved numbering the districts. Pam is kindly offering to put together the ordinance. Just taking a look at our agenda. I think that's everything, unless anyone wants to raise anything else about this, and then we could set a date for the final meeting.
The only thing, can I just, through you, Madam Chairwoman, to the registrar, would you mind just updating the political breakout, the spreadsheet, not a map, with the corresponding numbers. Before we had it by A, but just so we had a key, so people, so that when we give the map out, they can look and see what the voter registration is. Yeah.
And you're okay with that being the November number?
Yeah, whatever we used before, but if you could just update it so it doesn't, instead of District A, you know.
Would you like this map to also have those numbers?
Oh, that would be
yeah,
great.
yes,
Yes, please.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
do you want to
great, the
take
mom.
this for yourself then?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind getting that to me, and then I'll put that all with the minutes, and then you'll have that for the package to send to the district, to the full RTM.
Thank you. That's great. So what is, I was thinking, since Tuesdays seem to work for people, Tuesday, January 3rd, and I think it would be a quick meeting, but that way we could get it on the agenda.
Oh, yeah, because we have to get it to Betsy by the 10th.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now, that works.
How about everybody else?
That works.
I may, or, it's a big
Yes.
maybe about going to the Rose
I don't
Bowl,
have any
but-
schedule to look at, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Oh,
For January, I don't have, the meetings scheduled.
okay.
And if it's gonna be a really short meeting, maybe we'll just do that.
Yeah, that's probably okay.
If it's okay with you guys.
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
fine with me. I
5
mean, it's
minute
silly to
meeting.
make
If
it
you
for
think
an
it's gonna be
equipment.
5 minute meeting.
Yeah, 10 minutes at the most, I think. Yeah, because we'll see it all before.
Yeah, we'll have it all, and then we can just do whatever.
Okay, thanks. And hopefully someone can help us with the WebEx. Maybe you can be here. Thank you. Okay, so I'll make this a motion, but did someone want to move that our next meeting will be January 3rd at 7 PM?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I'll tell Betsy and get a room. That's great. So unless there's anything else to discuss, I'll take a motion to adjourn. I feel. Okay. Am I rushing it as you want to
No,
talk about?
no,
Oh, okay. Second for that?
Oh, sure, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.